Mic. Testing the mic. Mic test, testing the mic. This is quiet voice. This is a loud voice. Yeah, it sounds okay. Let's transition on in. Beep boop. Howdy do. Giving it a listen for the musics. I can't quite tell. Is it playing? Yeah, there it is. I hear it. I hear it. All right, let's turn this one on. Alrighty. Well, howdy y'all, and welcome back to another paint stream here in the Bullshit Corner 2.0 with yours truly, Cameron, here on behalf of Country Fried Nannies. Tonight, we're doing an extra stream this week to get some work in on these Cestus CTS-7A models that I printed out for the Games of Berkeley monthly battletech meetup. We're going to just assembly line these lads tonight, see if we can't get them done in a swift fashion. I've got 13 successful prints. I got 2 that ended up breaking, so these will go into my pool of parts, if you will. And I think we're going to go for 12 of these, because I've got 13 bases, and I want to also paint up this here Berserker while I'm at it tonight. We're doing a bit of a white elephant thing this month at Games Berkeley. So yeah, the Berserker is going to be my white elephant contribution, and then all these fellers will be handed out to folks who show up to 12 of them, you know, first come first serve. I may take an extra 13th down there so someone can get their hands on a unpainted one. But we're going to do something simple. Blue Shot Weapons is the manufacturer of this particular chassis, and they are white and black and blue. At least that's the colors on their logo. So we're going to aim for that type of color scheme tonight. Keep it real simple. We're going to hit them with some Stynylrez. We're going to hit it with a little bit of the Apothecary White contrast paint. Get them done quickly. Now, I'm struggling with this here camera. Let's see if I can't, which one is it? See if I can't change some of the properties on it. Properties. Configure video. So I think maybe if I like bring that brightness down a little bit, perhaps. Yeah, that looks okay. How about we'll drop, I think I'm going to manually adjust the white balance here so we can get a little more accurate colors. The Titania streams have really been a bit of a pain with it, like not being able to decide what colors should look like. So I'm thinking maybe if I get this dialed in here manually and just leave it there, if that'll work. Seems okay. This seems fairly close to accurate. It's frustrating, that's for sure. Let's maybe drop the contrast some. Having to watch this for the latency. Whoa, that just fucked it all up. high contrast better? No? Damn, I just mucked it all up. Let's cancel all of that. There we go. I just think it's time for a new webcam for this, but yeah, it's a little frustrating, to be sure. I can at least drop the brightness some, and I think that'll compensate and bring down that white that it's getting blowed out so bad. But anyhow, we'll see how it works tonight. We're going to be painting Mech's white, so it's probably going to be a real struggle for the camera. I think part of it is just like the angle of my light coming straight down, and this being overhead as well is really enhancing the glow that's coming right here. So what I'm seeing is not as intense. I'm not getting this hot spot of light here. But all that waffling aside, I hope y'all are doing well tonight. And without further ado, let's get stuck in. And I think we're going to start just by assembling, at least putting these on the bases. So I printed out a bunch of bases in FDM, and I printed out my mechs in SLA, and you probably can't tell too much of a difference here, but this is the Anycubic gray resin, and then this is Sunlu. I don't know the name of it. It's real cheap stuff, or it was really cheap stuff, and they have actually increased the price to similar to Anycubic. So whatever positive aspects could be found for Sunlu's cheap resin, you can just buy Anycubic for about the same price now, which is my go-to. It's like 25 bucks for a kilogram, so not a bad price at all. Anyhow, looks like some of these bases could use a little more filing. So this first bit, we're going to be getting text messages and need to silence the phone. There we go. I'm not going to be filming tonight, so it's just going to be the webcam. So I don't have to worry so much about getting the tripod out and making sure the secondary light. That's why I've only got the one softbox up here. So yeah, it should be a nice chill evening of grinding through some Cestus CTS-7As. The whole thinking behind this mech was that I wanted to hand out a chassis that was interesting and funky and something that you're not going to get in the Catalyst sets. Because a lot of the folks who play at Games of Berkeley just have the Catalyst models. So I settled on this Cestus, and after doing some digging around, I found that I liked Foxfi's model the most. And did a little bit of weapon swaps in Blender and got this custom variant together. So if you want to get your hands on this here Cestus CTS-7A, I've made it available on the Discord. So check it out if you want to print your own out. It's just a kit bash of Foxfi's Cestus using an LBX 20 bit that I found somewhere, and then the SRMs on the torso are made from Matt Mason's Commando COM 2D arm, cut down, mirrored, and stuck in place. It looks pretty good, I think. Howdy, howdy, another Nate. Almost forgot to arrive. Well, you're here now. And tonight we're getting a bunch of monotony done. I gotta admit, we're gonna be delving into what assembly line painting looks like. So this isn't too dissimilar to what I'd be doing on a large commission. If someone were to go on Fiverr and commission like 12 mechs out, I'd be doing something similar. So we'll see. We'll see. I'm a bit apprehensive that I'll be able to grind through them in their entirety in the 3-hour window I'm aiming for, but we'll see. Honestly, they're pretty simple. They're going to be mostly white, so the apothecary white is going to work really well in getting a lot of heavy lifting for us. And it's, you know, I'm not saying that contrast paint should take over your entire methodology in how you're painting and how you're going about it, but I am saying that it sure does make life easy and is really fun to work with. Okay. I did some cleanup on these bases late last night, but I didn't get them quite right, so we're going to do a little extra filing on them. Just make sure those base bevels are looking good. These here hex bases, I can't remember who produced them. I suppose I could maybe post it, but honestly, I can't be asked to do it. But I found this hex base that has the same bevel angle as the catalyst bases, which is really awesome. I know it doesn't bother everybody, but I'm a bit of a stickler of my bases matching from model to model. So to find a 3D printable base that is a good match for the catalyst base is really nice. And I think this mech will blend in very nicely. There is a Cestus available by Matt Mason, Sylogy, over on My Mini Factory. That is it's the MechWarrior Online version. But honestly, that one just looks like they straight up took the catapult torso and slapped some arms that are vaguely thuggish in the shoulder sockets. So I didn't want to use it, and I landed on this Foxfy one, which looks like a good blend between that MechWarrior Online and the original Dwayne Luce art. I think it'll be fun. It's a nice brawler to add to people's collections. Good short range mech. I think it's a 65 tonner armed with an LBX 20 autocannon with 3 tons of ammunition, 2 Streak SRM4s. I think they only have 1 ton of ammunition between them, but that's plenty. Could be 2 tons, I'm not sure. And then it's a pair of ER medium lasers and a pair of medium pulse lasers. It is an XL engine, so it's got that Inner Sphere XL fragility, but man, it hits hard. It's a fun mech. I tested it out in Mega Mech before I committed to the design and pitted it against a full lance of mechs that you'd encounter in MechWarrior 5, and it came out on top. It was really satisfying. And that was a Vulcan, a Spider, a Cicada, and I think it was a Commando. Can't remember. But the enemies outclassed its battle value by about 800 BB. Maybe more than that. I want to say it was 2K versus 3K, maybe. But yeah, the Cestus 7A, pretty damn good. I guess if you got in a long range fight with a mech with something like, you know, ER-PPCs or Gauss rifles, you'd really struggle. But man, that LBX-20 autocannon is very nice. Very, very nice. So I hope that people will add this to their collections and use them. Of course, that's the intention, right? With making a whole bunch of them to hand out. So, if you find yourself in the San Francisco Bay Area this weekend, come on down to Games of Berkeley. Come on over. Roll some dice. Between myself and the organizer, I believe there's enough painted chassis for people to have a good time and play with. You know, you don't even have to have mechs. You could have painted mechs on the field. We've got enough stuff for you to come on down and check it out. Plus, provided there's still some of these left, if you come on over, get your hands on one of these here, Cestus models. Yeah. So I just dipped this one because there was a little bit of resin on the surface still. I want to make sure that all that resin is gone off the surface before we spray it. So I just dipped it in some 99% isopropyl alcohol. And you know, it's looking like a few of them still have a little resin on the surface. So I'm going to toss them in. Let's go over these. So you definitely can't see on camera here, but there's some shininess on the surface of a few of their ankles where the resin you know, they probably could just cure a little more, but it's fine. That one's okay. This one's okay. These ones need to soak for a second. All right, back to. Now, I don't know about y'all, but I have become a fan of assembly line production. Sure, it's hard work. Sure, it takes time. Sure, it's annoying painting a whole bunch of the same color scheme, but there's something really nice about getting stuck into the task, moving on to the next and the next and the next, and by the time you're done with that last one, that first layer is dry and cured. It's kind of dank, kind of fun. It's the way to paint. So next time you're working on a mech project, I highly recommend working on like a full lance or multiple lances all in one go and see how it treats you. And then maybe even coming over to our Discord, link in the description, and sharing pictures of your fabulous work. I think I speak for all of us in the community when I say we'd love to see what you're working on. Alright. I'm realizing that I should have done this portion before stream, but it's fine. Y'all get to see this fun portion of the process. At least it's not full-on assembly. Which, for those of you who were here for the Games Workshop model, the lizard skink what was it, Skink Starseer, you'd know that assembly can be a nightmare depending on the project. All the more reason that I really enjoy a good 3D print. I've seen that a lot of artists out there put their 3D prints, make their 3D prints available as like a multi-part kit, which is great. Don't get me wrong, the customization is fantastic. But personally, I really love that you can either have your monopose model or do the assembly in a digital fashion and then just print it all in one go. It's damn cool. And, you know, printers are getting better and better and better, which is really awesome. I'm printing with the Frozen Sonic Mini. These were printed in 0.05 millimeter layers. And, I mean, that's positively chunky compared to some of the modern, like, 8K resolution printers. And they're fine. Like, the layer lines are there, but they're very minimal and won't really show up on the final product. So yeah, if you ain't got a 3D printer in your life, consider picking one up. I bet some of y'all out there have 3D printers in your Santa lists anyways. I know I mention it a lot as well, but the Frozen Sonic Mini original model is often less than $200. So it's a really inexpensive investment into 3D printing. I mean, you'll probably, if you've never 3D printed before, you'll probably go through a bottle of resin, wasting it. So realistically, your investment is more like $250 to get started. But once you start printing out models that cost, you know, 10 cents a piece, I think that cost balances out really, really quick. All right, we're chugging right along. And as soon as we get these all glued on, we're gonna bust out the airbrush and start priming. And we'll use the white primer as the base color of these models. See how quickly we can get them done. I really hope by the end of this, we'll have 12 fantastic, funky lads ready to hit the field. Well, Nate says, I'm only missing a laser and a CNC at this point. Amazing. I mean, with those two pieces of equipment, you're running a full-on workshop there, which is kind of awesome. And the fact that that is accessible to, you know, everybody effectively. I mean, there's space limitations, sure, but to have those so accessible to the public is damn cool. I've got a buddy out here who has a laser cutter, and it's always a treat to see what new piece of MDF terrain he's cooked up. He did a series of crates for the Infinity Group out here with the Gamescape San Francisco logo on them. I've got a few of them in my Infinity table collection. It's really kind of fun to show up at the game store and roll dice and play on branded terrain effectively that matches the venue. I've also seen that RFD Hobby's been doing a lot of stuff with a laser cutter. He's been doing like laser engraving, which I thought was really, really neat. Evidently you can take like a piece of wood or a piece of canvas or really whatever and paint on it with a solid coat of black acrylic and then laser engrave a painting into it. So that's been very cool. Welcome, welcome, Char's Fist. Factory mode enabled indeed. We are model by model moving forward. Again, regretfully, I did not glue these to the bases beforehand, which I should have. So, you know, we've only wasted, what, a half hour? Going on a half hour? That's fine. Give me a chance to waffle on about mass production, assembly line, painting, and whatnot. Plus, it's buying me a little more time to think about what color I'm going to do for this Berserker. I was thinking I was going to go 15th Arcturans with it, but someone else in the community is bringing a 15th Arcturan Guards model for the White Elephant, so I didn't want to do the same one exactly. We'll probably just pick a nice contrast color and slap it over top and give it the same treatment, just in a different color. So we'll be working on 12 and 1 today. I was going to do 13 Cestus. And you know what? I think I still could. I could do 13 of these. I've got one extra right here, and I've got the base. So let's do it. We'll do 13 Cestus and the Berserker. And see if we can't get them all done inside of 3 hours. I mean, that's a tall order. It might turn into 4 hours, but yeah, it'll be fine. Let's do an extra one, just in case. I'd hate to have 12 models and have 13 people show up for the event this month. Although realistically, I'm not expecting a ton of folks. It is the holidays after all. But who knows? I'd rather have them and not need them than need them and not have them. All right, so that's our line of Cestus assembled or readied for painting. I didn't have to do any assembly because they're 3D prints. They're already assembled. They just need to go on the base. And then we're going to get this Berserker put down. And see, this Berserker has a bunch of fun texture on its feet. And I want to flatten that out at the points where it contacts the base. So we're going to give this one a little filing as well. And this is a good point to mention. You should totally be wearing a respirator when you do this and not be breathing in the dust off of resin. So, you know, I'm being a bit of a hypocrite there, but I'm about to put on the respirator. Yeah, okay. So a little bit of filing that's going to sit really nice and flush now. Let's do a big old dollop of glue here and there. No guest palette tonight because, well, this is not a piece for a video. It's just for you all this evening in the stream, working on these models. All right. Okay, so we have our set of mechs to work on. About to start hitting them with some primer. Get things a-going. In fact, let's get rid of this. Vacuum line. All right, I got a respirator around here somewhere. There it is. Let's do that first. Okay. All right. Oh man. What else do I need? I need gloves. So let's get some gloves. I'm almost out of gloves. Gonna need to order some soon. Okay, so let's get our gloves. Let's get our boys. Let them all off to the side. And then I've got a spray booth. This thing. There we go. Got my water. I've got a pipette. And I've got my airbrush. So first, let's give our airbrush a check. I keep mine way too dirty, so I bet I'm gonna have to clean it again. Yeah, it's a little chunked up. Let's see. Yeah, it is indeed chunked up. So, as has been the trend with every episode so far, I should have cleaned this before the stream. Losing too much valuable time having to do this. It's fine. It's fine. It's perfectly hunky-dory. I think this is good anyways to show y'all who don't have an airbrush what is going into an airbrush and why you ought to, you know, be made aware of the cleaning involved. Alright, it feels like we've got some serious resistance right here. So we'll start with that, which means I need one of these and this lead and some of this acetone. All right, here we go. Yeah, this sucks. All right. I see chunkiness. I see. Okay. We'll get that cleaned out. Let's get this cleaned out. Just dribbling a little acetone in it. Again, acetone can be a little harsh on your equipment, but I personally find that it works really well for me. So is my go-to for cleaning my airbrush bits. Alright. Still feels a little rough. So let's do another dribble. A little bit of acetone through it. Push the needle, and I'm working the needle through backwards. Just in a hopes that it'll help to dislodge some of that funky stuff in there. Okay. Alright. Where'd that fucking lid go? God damn it. Yeah, alright, so how much extra time did we lose on the fact that I didn't clean my airbrush? you'd think I'd know by now that you gotta clean your airbrush in between every session. And so far, I have failed to do this every single time. Okay. Put this spring assembly back in. Put our trigger back in. No. We gotta put the plate back in first. There we go. And now we put the trigger back in. And so fiddly. So fiddly. There we go. And I can crank this down. Crank it down full. And it's working nicely. Put our backing on. And then make sure we put the collet on the end first. And then that needle still needs to be cleaned a bit. We're gonna take our paper towel, a little bit of acetone, and just give it a good clean. And you can see all that gunk there is what was stuck inside of our little spring assembly. So, you know, just a reminder, clean your airbrush. And I say that, and I bet you, you know, dollars to donuts that I'm just gonna not clean it again. I also see immediately there is gunk still coming through here. Which is worrying. But we got more funky gunk coming through. So much of it, actually. A whole hell of a lot of... So, damn it. I do want to take a moment to point out, I have sung the praises of this airbrush since I've gotten it. It's a great airbrush, for the most part. Something I'm really frustrated with is this default needle that it comes with. So, because there's this bulb on the end of the needle, it works really well for, you know, pulling it out. But when you pull the needle through the airbrush this way, you're going to pull paint into this section. It's very hard to clean. So I think it's a bit problematic that this airbrush doesn't have a way for me to pull the needle out through the front to resist that. Yeah, it's completely fucking seized up. Look at all that. Jesus Christ. Alright. Let's clean it again. I know this is riveting content, y'all. This is super, super entertaining. But, this is a bit of a crisis. All right. My airbrush is completely seized up.
Love it. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Lovely. So very happy.
All right, let me find a paintbrush to maybe clean this thing out. Maybe a paintbrush that's not gonna get paint all in my thing. Can't words. Cannot believe it's so gunked up right now. Yeah, so I watched a Lila Mev video somewhat recently where she talked about airbrush maintenance, and this is one of the issues that got brought up in that when you pull the needle out through the back, it pulls paint into this little O-ring connection point. And well, I'm seeing a lot of buildup there now, to the point that my airbrush is seizing up and is completely unusable until I clean that out. And that problem would be completely avoided if I could just pull the needle out through the front instead of the back. Wouldn't be an issue at all. So yeah, welcome to the airbrush cleaning stream, where we're 45 minutes in and haven't even started painting. Uh-oh. All that foam where I spilled the acetone is gone. Awesome. Okay. Hopefully that is enough to get it functioning now. Let's assemble it again and give it a peek. All right, so let's put the trigger in. Trigger goes in. All right, trigger's in. Take our spring. Take our spring. Put our spring in. And then this should, as long as this thing is lined up right, it should crank all the way down. Perfectly fine. Here we go, it's moving. Put our back on. Let's put the collet on. Let's put the needle through. Give it a few. Ha ha ha! I have a working airbrush again. Yeah, reminder, clean your airbrush. Clean your airbrush really well each time you use it. And then you won't have to spend 15 minutes cleaning your airbrush before you can get started with it. Alright. So let's get back on the respirator. melted all the foam. Oh, God. I think it's time to retire this spray booth thing and build a new one.
All right. We can actually get started if I could find the paint that I put away from myself. All right, so Stadlerez white primer, all these LEDs. Let's go. Goddamn, come on. Everything's tangled up. All right. The action is running all right. It'll be good enough. I'll have to give this airbrush a super deep clean. But without further ado, let's actually get to a paint. And spray down the Cestus. Make sure to just let go of it. That's an important part of the process. And of course, as always, you could avoid a lot of this if you're in an area where spraying via a rattle can is fine. Since I live downtown in San Francisco, it's a little hard for me to use a rattle can. So airbrush it is. Plus, I think with your, once you have the investment of the airbrush and the compressor, your investiture of paint gets a lot cheaper. Definitely beats rattle can in the long term. However, if you're not spraying up a whole bunch of models, you can use inexpensive primers for just a couple bucks a can, and that's fine. I've used the Rust-Oleum 2X white primer on Mech before, and it works perfectly fine. Nothing wrong with it. Cannot complain whatsoever. And I think I'm paying like $2.50 a can or something silly like that. Something stupid cheap. And that's how I got all my painting done, or all my priming done, while I was back east, before I was in the city here. Yeah, and it worked fine. Plus, you know, just like with this project, anytime you're working on a solid color mech set, like if you're doing palm guards or Arcturan guards or Ghost Legion, you can get away with just spraying them white. Or I guess that concept even applies to other colors too. Like you could totally start with a primer color that matches your monocolor mix and save a ton of time. So that's what we're going to be doing tonight. We're going to spray these LEDs white and then hit them with some apothecary white contrast. Get a ton of work done really fast. So yeah, whether you're working with an airbrush or rattle cans, the effect is the same. You could definitely bang out a whole bunch of mechs really quick by cutting corners. And you know, it's not that I necessarily advocate cutting corners in your paint jobs. for large or for passion projects. But if you're working on a large project like, you know, 13 mechs, every few seconds you can save in each step adds up quite quickly. And I think I'm going to do my best to demonstrate that tonight while we bang out the CTS-7A Cestus model. Alright, so just like with any other priming, I'm hitting these with a thin coat. I don't want to build up too much on the surface. I don't want to clot up any details. Usually when I'm working out of the airbrush, I try not to even have it shiny. If it starts to get any shine to it, I feel like I've put too much on, even though this stuff is pretty self-leveling. That said, in this case, I'm working on so many mechs that I don't have to be quite as gentle on each one. I can put a pretty hefty coat on some of them, because by the time I loop back around to hit them with their second layer, they'll be dry, which is a point of praise for assembly line painting. I think the work tonight really shows again why it's so important to wear a respirator when you're doing this. Or, you know, if you're spraying outdoors, heck, even if you're spray paint outside, I still recommend wearing a respirator while you do it. Just, you know, you don't want to be breathing all this shit in. Okay, we're flying right along. And I'm using about, I'm pretty sure I'm on 30 PSI for this. So it's fairly high velocity. And I'm just barely opening the nozzle for paint flow. Just a little bit will do ya. Okay. I see a problem. This one has a little bit of support left on it. You gotta paint them so they look like nice while you burn them up with lasers. Yeah, you know, that's something that crosses my mind playing MechWarrior 5. Also, welcome Emery. Anytime you wrap up a mission in MechWarrior 5 and take a peek at your mechs, they're just like chewed to shit, blackened, pitted and cratered everywhere. I've got to wonder how much paint would a mercenary crew actually go through. Would they really be taking that time to paint up their mechs in between operations? Probably not if you're doing like a back-to-back situation. If there's only like 60-90 days between a mission, you're probably not painting those mechs again. Which is really funny to me. But in a more realistic thought, I kind of picture that the mechs are probably not seeing engagements all that often. Like, you know, you may deploy a mech for a couple engagements, or you know, a few sorties or whatever you'd call it, during an operation. But I imagine the majority of a mech's life is going to be spent just hanging out in the hangars. They'd use whatever they have on hand to ward off rust. Oh, that makes sense. But even that you know, that's an issue because the mechs are just hanging out in the hangar most of the time. Makes me think of like a classic car that you go out and you start up every now and then to make sure that it still turns over. Alright, so we're on to coat 2. Coat 2 of the white. And I think we're gonna settle on 2 coats. I don't need it to be perfect. We're going over top of this with apothecary white anyways. So this will be plenty good enough. Plenty good enough. And as I've said a million times on the channel, good enough is good enough. And really, when it comes down to it, if you're talking tabletop quality, good enough will be good enough. Not saying I'm cutting corners because I'm giving them away, but I am saying I'm cutting corners because I'm painting up, what, 14 mech? I keep dripping paint over the end of the nozzle, so I have to stop and wipe it down. My hand motions are a little too violent for the amount of paint in the cup here. As my Badger Arrow has a very small cup. But it's fine. It does the job. And the machinery works really well. And not worry about color. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I ought to do a mercenary lamp with just like some proper like repaint panels. Like, oh, it's got a fucking orange arm, or like a couple different panels that are funky colors. Oh, what happened there? What has happened here? I've got some kind of texture on the surface of this model. Let me spray this out real quick and see what's going on. That's my clean, this is my dirty. I'm surprised they don't have advertising mechs. Mechs tromp into town, flatten City Hall, tell you you're now a citizen of the Federated Sun, and maybe, what is Pepsi? Maybe I should try some Pepsi. Yeah, I love the idea. Do a full lance of Federated fast food mechs. Okay. I think during that last spray, some of the paint I cleaned up earlier got released into the cup there, and I got little specks of paint, little specks of solid dried paint. It's like looks like little flecks of dust in the paint job, which is fine. Whatever. Who cares? It's not going to be noticeable. Not about to rub it off and start over. Worst case scenario, I have one that looks like trash and I'll just take 12 instead of 13. William Shakespeare had a curse engraved on his tombstone to prevent anyone from moving his bones. I can buy it. Nightbot has graced us with another factoid. I believe it. Whether or not it's true, it sounds plausible. Autocorrect is nuts. It changes Trump into Trump. Yeah, that makes sense in this modern era. That's definitely a name that gets uttered a lot in online discourse. And I have to imagine that autocorrect on devices is somewhat AI assisted these days. So it would, you know, not only check your own communicative styling, but those of the internet at large. I've noticed now, as I do more and more Duolingo on my phone, that autocorrect tends to struggle sometimes correcting things into Spanish or correcting Spanish into English, depending on the conversation. Oh god, now I'm imagining a mech standing on every street corner tossing one of those juggling ad plank things. Yes. Yes, indeed. I mean, I can imagine like a mech repair shop, a speed shop, doing having a mech variant specifically made to juggle a gigantic billboard-sized sign. If that happened in a piece of battletech fiction, I wouldn't bat an eye at it. I'd fully accept that as part of the meta. Autocorrect has always filtered by buzzwords. Okay, yeah. Yeah, it makes sense to me. Alright. We're almost through the priming of these lads. I'm really excited to see where it goes. And despite all the time we lost on assembly and cleaning the airbrush, I want to say we're making good time at this point. So let's even calculate that as part of the project. If you were working on this yourself, I could see using about an hour for preparatory stuff, for assembly, for a little bit of mild sanding. If you're working on like a company, right, 12 mechs, it absolutely makes sense to me. Anyhow, we are making sure to drip this paint again. I'm gonna have to blow my nose soon. This respirator makes the moisture of my breath collect up in the tip of my nose, and I hate it. All right, getting there. All right. One at a time. Steady as we go. The trickiest part I'm finding on these is threading the needle into here, up under that arm, and making sure the underside of the cockpit is adequately coated. Okay. Alright. We're in the home stretch. So close now. I see some, what is that, a hair? I think there's a hair stuck to one of these models. Right here. Come on. I gotta switch tweezers to a pair that actually grips. There we go. There we go. This one's got fuzz all over it. Where the hell did that come from? What the hell? Where did all this fuzz come from? Jesus. It's bad. Oh, that's gnarly. Awful. Well, you know, hitting models with a dusting of primer sure will bring out details like that. The fuck did this come from? Don't make no damn sense. I don't understand where, from whence all this dust came. It's insane amount of fuzz. Seriously. Alright. It must have happened when I set it on the towel after the alcohol bath. Could have been in the primer airbrush. No, I think it came off of this towel here. I think I might have rubbed it down now that I think about it. After I got the little bit of resin off of it. But it's gone enough. Gone enough as to not be super noticeable. But I'll tell you what is noticeable is the support that got left on it that I'm just now noticing. And we're going to get rid of it and primer it up. There we go. Alright, last Berserker. Berserker getting some love. Not really sure what color the Berserker is going to go. Honestly. Not really sure. Maybe red. Red Berserker should be. Someone is having a loud conversation in the hallway. I thought they were right outside my door. Alright, okay. I think with that, we've got 14 mechs. Good to go. Give that a spray. Give it a spray out. Let's run a little bit of acetone through it. All right, come on now. Starts with B, gotta be blue. Yeah, I don't know if I have a good blue for in contrast. I can mix one up with contrast medium. I think that might work. Alright, now we're going to run a little bit of alcohol through it. And then we're going to rinse out our solvents with a little bit of water. And then spray that water through it. Alright, I'm going to turn off the compressor, which is pretty warm. Alright. Cool, cool, cool. We're making progress. I think all that damn moisture collects from the tip of my nose, wearing up my respirator.
I think we're ready to start painting proper. So let's start picking up these models. And yeah, the first few are good and dry. And the last ones we worked on, by the time we get to them ready to put the paint on, they'll be ready to receive said paint. Scoop this up. Especially that berserker right at the very end. Alright. Okay. Quick sip of coffee. Or more accurately, a couple swallows of coffee. Let's get out a new cloth. Man, everything is covered in a fine layer of white dust now. I really need to invest in one of those vacuum-powered boxes. Airbrushing booth, like a proper airbrushing booth with filtration and whatnot. Evening all, howdy Vandal Noir. Tonight we are assembly lining a whole bunch of mechs. You showed up right as we finished up the priming, so we're going to start slapping on some contrast colors onto these CTS-7A Cestus mechs as manufactured by Blue Shot Weapons. I believe the production year on it is 3070. I'm not 100%, but they were manufactured by Blue Shot Weapons facility on Solaris. And funny enough, this mech was not produced for too long before the factories were destroyed by the Word of Blake in the Jihad. So, alright, we got a fresh bit of parchment paper. And we're gonna do up some apothecary white. And I think I'm actually gonna add a stir ball to this. Now that I think about it, because this apothecary white's one of the worst separating contrast colors. So let's dunk one of those in there. Give her a good shake. You really want all that white that settles out in the bottom of the contrast paint to get reincorporated. All right, so this is going to be some sloppity work, real fast and heavy, and we're going to trust in the contrast paint to do the work for us. So this is my Apothecary White. The label came off of this, but this is GW's Contrast White. Give it a good stir. You know, this Vortex mixer may not be the best investment. I'm going to go out there and say it. Honestly, it doesn't seem to mix things better than like an extended period of mixing, and I find that I still got to shake things anyways. But boy, is it fun. And if you got an extra 30 bucks, yeah, you might be worth picking one up. I thought your cord there was my beard. I kept trying to swipe it off the screen. That's pretty funny. I could see how that would happen. Isn't Cestus like the brother of Cataphract and Caesar family locked away in the basement when company ran? Yeah. I think that's a pretty apt description. Although it seems like it's a kind of a bastardized version of maybe the Catapult, whereas the Cataphract was a Franken Mech, basically, of... What was it based off? I'm pretty sure it was based off the Marauder. And then the Caesar was like a reimagining of the Cataphract by non-Capellans. I like the Caesar and the Cataphract. In fact, I have a Cataphract right here for my Death Commandos lance. Funky Boy, Iron Winds Metals version. It's awful. Awful sculpt. Does not sell it well. But then again, even the MechWare Online version is kind of funky. All right, so I have been using this pipette for acetone, so let's actually get a fresh one. But I'm going to be using so much contrast paint here that I think it warrants just putting a big old puddle of it out. And clean out our pipette. And we're just going to put this stuff on full strength. It'll be fine. Hunky dory. I bet that's not even enough for all of them. But we're just going to go to town. And shit, I think I even need a bigger brush. Do I have a bigger brush? I do have a bigger brush. We're about to get out a number 6 brush. This is from Princeton Art and Brush Co. I love these sets. This value set number 10 costs $6.95, I think, on Amazon. And you get a 3.0, a 2, a 6, and a 4. And it's like fantastic. This one is a mixed media set. I'm a big fan of these brushes. They work really well while they're fresh and sharp. I mean, it's golden Taklon, so they're going to break down pretty quick, but... and shit, if I recall correctly, this one had another brush in it. It might have been a number 1. Yeah, it also came with a 1, which is this one. Right here, real sharp point. So for like... I'm pretty sure it was $7. Shipped to your door, free shipping with Prime. Value set number 10 from Princeton Art and Brush Co. Good stuff. Big recommend. Shit, I even buy these when I go down to Blick. Occasionally I'll go down there for like a nice brush for a specific application, and I always come out with these real value sets in addition. You want an awful sculpt? Think the Kentaro is a solid contender for illicit Colombian nose candy professional line drawing. Don't mix well. Yeah, I have a Kentaro somewhere. I bought the Iron Wind Metals Draconis Combine Heavy Lance, and it was real funky. It came with a daimyo, a Nodachi, a Kentaro, and it came with the Wolverine with the like samurai armor plates on the shoulders. And it also came with a pewter Draconis Combine coin. Anyhow, so we got our 6th round. This is a big old fat brush, which I wouldn't use for anything other than base coating, but we're effectively base coating here. So we're going to hit these boys with a heavy coating of Apothecary White. And we're going to work fast, because this stuff has a tendency to make hard edges and do some gnarly pooling. So we want to keep moving it around. In fact, I kind of am thinking I might have ought to bend it with some medium as well. But no, it's fine. We're going to put this on full strength, and then we'll dry brush white over top and kind of focus that white shading towards the front, towards the cockpit and the nose, the center torso. Where are we sitting at right now? We're an hour and 24 minutes in, and we're just now hitting with the base coats. We'll see what we can get done in this next hour and a half. I might push it 4 hours, maybe not. I got some stuff to do before midnight, some finalizing for one of my classes. I think we got to do a reflection. I'm loath to call it a paper. It's like a 1,000-word response to the galleries at the San Francisco Modern Art Museum in a art history context, which is cool. I'm actually kind of excited to talk about. I discovered a painting by one of my favorite artists there that I'd never seen before, which is really cool. It's wild, you know. Going to an art museum is fun in just period, but hitting the same museum a few times over the course of a year is really neat, in that you can see what pieces are permanent collection and what pieces get rotated out, and new things. It was really, really cool. So yeah, if you ever find yourself in San Francisco on vacation or traveling, or you're a local who just hasn't been over to the SF MoMA, join up on the Discord, shoot me a message. I'd love to show you around, point out some cool stuff. I'm definitely down for that kind of thing. And it's only $30, if I recall correctly. It's like 6 floors of installation. They've currently got this massive Diego Rivera mural down there that was relocated from the City College of San Francisco. It's really cool stuff. I don't know, any of y'all are art nerds out there. And speaking of, if you are an art nerd, again, come on over to the Country Fried Minis Discord. We have an art section where you can art nerd it out. Or if you want to share your art, we'd love to see it. Always a good time. You broke that one out last stream when you got mad at the one that was doing the 10 wrong, and you hooked it directly in the trash. Oh, what did I throw away? I threw away something. So, damn. If only I had a functioning memory. I remember throwing it in the trash. I don't remember exactly what it was. Yeah. I may have anger problems, y'all. It's a distinct possibility. We're talking about dip washes recently. Speaking of memory, I remember talking about dip washes recently, and I'm actually kind of thinking that what I'm doing right now would be an excellent time for a dip wash. So, GW, if you're listening, we need some contrast dip washes. I'd probably pay $30 for a tin of Apothecary White dip wash. If I had it in the right color, I absolutely would pay the ridiculous price. Although, recalling that same conversation, I bet dollars to donuts that I could find an acrylic wood stain that is a similar gray to this. I'm sure it exists out there. And just dunk these mechs. Man, I gotta do the content about the dip wash. The more I think about it, I think it'll be a really fun project. Maybe even a product review or a tips and tricks video. Yeah. You want to get your mechs done in a hurry, just dunk them in the wash here and give them a dry brush, and that's it. That's all it takes. But you know, for reals, this 6 brush is huge, and it is getting it done swiftly. I hope y'all can see decently. I could maybe bring the camera in a bit, actually. Gaudy Museum is stunning, but I avoid California like a plague. They make truck drivers drive 55 for the entire effing state. Piss off, California. Oh man, it's yeah. Yeah, it's also a big it's a big place. A lot of driving. I was shocked to find out that LA is like an 8-hour drive from San Francisco. So when I first came out here, I did it in 3 days of driving. The first day, you leave in the evening from Nashville. I'm originally from a little town called Tullahoma, but let's just round it up to Nashville. You leave from Nashville and you get to the border, right at that last rest stop at the edge of the state in Tennessee, and you get a few hours of Z's there, because day one is a long burn. And I would go to Amarillo and then sleep there and eat at Denny's. And then day two, leave Amarillo and then burn through the Southwest all the way to Needles. And then you go to Needles and you stay in the Motel 6 and you eat at Denny's. And that, or in the morning you eat at Denny's, I should clarify. And then after your Denny's, your second day in the row of eating at Denny's, hit the road, and it's an entire day up from Needles to San Francisco. Now that I'm a student and broke, I no longer do the hotel thing when I'm driving, but instead just pull off at rest stops and sleep for like 6-8 hours whenever I'm tired. And basically just do a non-stop from SF to Tennessee to like go visit my folks and friends and stuff. Nate claims that the gray wood stain is out there. I'm going to have to start sourcing. You know, I bet it's as simple as going on to Lowe's or Home Depot and just having it ordering it, shipping it right to your door. I'm very curious now. Although, you know, I did do the Com Guard paint up for that Tukiyed video. I'm not necessarily sure another white mech video would go over super well, but it could be worth looking into. Maybe I'll do a 15th Arcturan Guard video touching on both how to dip your mechs and save a ton of work, as well as how to paint tiger stripes, which are tough. I tell you what, painting tiger stripes is tough. About to go through it again with my tiger sharks, actually, which are a fun color scheme of, I want to say it's tan on brown camo, and then they have bands on their forearms and shins that are yellow yellow bands with black tiger stripes on them. But I think officially they use whatever camo is appropriate for the region they're fighting in. But the official color scheme picture is like a tan on brown camo. So I generally default to the default on camo specs. All right, that's three mechs down. I see I missed a spot, so let's do that real quick. I think I'm gonna try to bring let's see if I can't get closer for y'all so you can actually see the mechs or whatever. I mean, I sleep at rest stops, so I feel that pain. You got a Tommy's in SF? I don't know. There's a Tommy's joint, which is its own kind of thing. Haven't heard of a Tommy's as far as like a burger place. Is that in focus at all for y'all? Apothecary white wood stain in Discord. Oh, hell yeah. You know what? Let's, I'll pull it up right after I finish this one here. Let's take a peek. I'll do the whole shove my phone in front of the camera thing. Honestly, I gotta admit that I do like getting stuff done in these streams, but the distractions and looking things up and popping it into the stream is always super fun. It's a little easier to do on the workflow live streams because I can just tab out and drag over a Chrome tab or whatever. But I have noticed in the last few that shoving a mech paint job in front of the camera using my phone picks up pretty well. So we'll take a peek of that here in just a second. I bet it would work. And I'm going to have to experiment with it. A dip wash. Apothecary white dip wash. And the thumbnail would be like, move over contrast. There's an easier method in town. And then it's a picture of me like throwing a bottle of paint into trash as hard as I can and like an explosion coming up out of the bin. Yeah. Damn. Now if I could just get AI to paint the models and film the whole thing and edit it. You know, I know AI generation gets hate thrown at it, but I look forward to the day that AI generated stuff, like ground up AI generation, is of high quality. I think it's something that should be embraced. And I mean, yeah, realistically, yes, it's going to put a lot of artists out of work, but it will also force what artists are still out there doing work to really step up their quality. And I think in the long run, AI generation will increase the value of hand-created stuff rather than decrease it. But yeah, it will definitely put artists out of work. All right, just about done with this. This 6 brush is, wow, making this fly through. We just want a real good saturation on here. It looks sloppy, and it is sloppy, and the pooling is fine because we're going to dry brush over them. Works perfectly fine. It's a mini break. Yeah, exactly. Let me grab my phone. Tommy's and Farmer's Brothers are my favorite California burger joint. I'm not familiar with them. All right, let's pull up this Discord. I got to. Gonna have to pass. I got an invite for some more Apex, which I do enjoy, but I'm doing an impromptu stream tonight. Okay, let's pull this thing up. Oh man, this new Discord format I'm still not very used to. It's poly, but they can mix nearly any color. Okay, visit site. Walmart. Walmart, you say? Now, that looks to me... Holy moly, this white balance. This camera is like... What are you doing with the white balance here? Yeah, that looks just about right, don't it? Looks perfectly fine to me. Weathered gray Varathane premium fast dry wood stain for $8.49. How much is in that container? 8 fluid ounce? Yeah, that's perfect. It's probably just big enough to dunk a model into. I'm gonna have to try it out. I'll give a full report in a video. Farmer Bros is the only California burger place I'm familiar with. Tommy's and Farmer Joint, yeah, Farmer's Brothers. I'm not familiar with either. Plus, I am vegan now, so like burger joints are harder to find for me anymore. Nightbot has dumped in here. It says in Colorado, USA, there's still an active volcano. It last erupted about the same time as the pyramids were being built in Egypt. I mean, is that a worthwhile fact? There are active volcanoes all over the place. I don't think that's worthy of posting into the chat there. Boo, Nightbot. Boo. Boo earns. Venom Noir says, I don't think AI is the doomsday everybody thinks it is. Said the same thing about photography when that is... Yeah, that's fair. Absolutely fair. I need to see if I can stop this. Where's my properties? Where's my properties? Properties. Configure video. Can I stop this white balance? Boom. Turn it off auto. How's that looking now? It is like weirdly blowed out, ain't it? Farmer Bros had vegan when I visited in 13. Yeah, hell yeah. All right. It is cancel. I cannot get this thing to. See, the issue I'm having with this webcam is it does not have as much control over the colors as I would like. You know, I might take y'all's Patreon money and buy a Logitech camera in the new year. Something that gives me a little finer control over this white balance issue. Because I'm realizing I primer up and work with a lot of white surfaces, and it's just like, it's so blowed out. Plus, I could probably get a 4K webcam and just get much better results. Now, if I could just use a camera similar to the one in my Note 9, that would be perfect. So I think, yeah, a better webcam is on the horizon. I'm realizing that y'all can kind of see, you're getting like the gist of what's going on, more or less. Doing it this way. But yeah, it is what it is. And I am super appreciative of all y'all who show up and show some love. Now would be a perfect time to mention that if you want to support what you do here, if you like what I'm seeing, like what you're seeing, if you want to support what I do here, consider joining up as a member on the YouTube channel. For as little as $1 a month, you can have access to some fabulous biscuit-based emojis here in chat, as well as a fun little Country Fried Minis badge next to your name in chat for people to see. As well as access to ad-free videos once we start putting in ads, and priority consideration for the subscriber Tabletop Tuesday streams, which will be coming in the new year. We'll do stuff like Dungeon Crawl Classics or Morkborg, usually like one-off, one-shot episodes where people can jump in Tabletop Simulator and become a part of the experience beyond just being a community member. I think it'll be a lot of fun. And of course, it's not limited to paid subscribers, but that anybody who contributes in that fashion will get priority consideration for episodes. I think the first one we're going to do is going to be Dungeon Crawl Classics. We're going to do a funnel. It'll be Sailors on the Starless Sea, which, yeah, if y'all aren't familiar, I think we'll have a blast with once we have our triumphant return to the Tabletop Tuesday event in the new year. That's probably going to be a bi-weekly show for what it's worth. I'm thinking 2 streams a week is probably good enough, and not overwhelm y'all with too much content. I mean, really, I could be here every day for the most part, but I just think that's too much. Plus, I like to leave the schedule open just in case I want to do an impromptu workflow live stream whenever we're working on a video. So, going forward, you know, the Wednesday show right here, 6 p.m. PST. We'll do the paint stream every week. Every other Monday will be Clash, the Infinity live game, and then on off weeks, we'll be doing the Tabletop Tuesdays. LA area thing. Okay. Farmer Bros. LA area. I'm trying to think last time I was down that way. It's been years. Nothing down in SoCal for me, really. I mean, maybe like a convention could potentially pull me down there, but like, to be honest, I get a lot of anxiety with large convention events. They become a little overwhelming for me. It's been a long time. Long time since I've been to something like that. I mean, even that Rose City Raid event that I went to is only like 50 people there. It's not a huge convention, it's just a tournament. Heck, even that is a little much at times. I gotta steal moments off to the side, just me and my phone, and avoiding the social contact. I am hella introverted, y'all. Alright, so where are we sitting at? An hour 48 minutes. This is... it's grinding along. We're making progress. Not quite as fast as I'd have liked, but we lost a lot of time in the beginning with the preparatory stuff. So I might push it 4 hours tonight. These gotta get done, even if it is purely good enough is good enough. But honestly, this six brush is doing work. We're just gonna jab at these boys until they're gray. Welcome to the monotony stream, y'all. Anyhow, it's 11 p.m. local, and I got to drive from South Carolina to Huntsville, Alabama tomorrow. Much love all, and remember, vegan burgers are just a way of saying I don't watch prawn, just hentai. Self-deception. Yeah, exactly. Oh, that's not unfair. Enjoy your drive. Enjoy Huntsville. I ain't been down there in a hot minute, but I got a buddy who lived down there. So yeah, thanks for stopping by, Vandal. It's been fun chatting with you. Okay, I think the furthest north they went 10 years ago was San Bernardino. Isn't San Bernardino basically just LA? Is that not the greater LA area or whatever? Which one of these is my dirty? That's dirty right here. Okay. I'm going to readjust this camera again, see if we can't get it to stop spazzing out with the white balance. So, for some reason, I can turn off the auto white balance, but then it starts doing funky stuff with the colors. It's LA at the top of the hill. Yes, yeah, okay. I mean, LA's huge, though. And that seems to be kind of the thing with San Francisco as well, Bay Area. Like it's all Bay Area. Like hell, really, all the communities ringing the entirety of the Bay are all kind of like seamless, really. Like honestly, Daly City, for instance, is pretty much indistinguishable from San Fran. As you drive through it, it's all the same. Just like a seamless spread of city with arbitrary borders and county definitions. Though I do tend to be a little elitist. Not gonna lie. I'm very lucky to live in the city proper. The 49 square miles that make up San Francisco. I think it's a little more than that. It's like 7 miles by 7.5 miles. Small. Is a small place. But I live downtown. Like, it's kind of nuts. And as much as I bitch about the noise and the crazies and the motorcycles, I wouldn't trade it for nothing. I kind of love being immersed in it. I find it difficult to sleep when I go back east for a visit because I don't have the street lights and the noise. Does that make me a hypocrite when I complain about the crazies outside? Maybe a little bit. Maybe just a little bit. Should I chill out? Absolutely not. Ornery is where I exist. It's a permanent state of being. 100 miles from downtown. That's insane. Absolutely insane. Same way Wisconsin is Chicago. Oh boy. Never been. I would love to see some of the museums there. So I have a buddy who went on a trip to Chicago to see, I think it was a wrestling show, an all elite wrestling show, and he stopped at one of the museums. It was really cool. Showed some really awesome shots. All right, missed a little spot there. But there we go. We've got seven Cestus painted up. Well, base coated. Let's try to pick up the pace here. Strike a balance between efficiency and speed, I guess. Like, I want to get them coated quickly. Without missing any portion, but maybe I can't actually go any faster than I already am. But we go, we grind, we work. Blue shot weapons production line never stops. I'm thinking too, based on the symbol, there is no official paint scheme for this corporation. I didn't see any in Mech nor camo specs. So the color scheme here is all based off of their logo, which is a white background with a black triangle. And inside the black triangle is like a spiraling pattern of 3 blue shapes. I guess it's on the thumbnail. Blue shot weapons. So the work tonight is going to be inspired by that. It's going to be mostly white. We're going to put some black accents, and we're going to put a little bit of blue. And yeah, should go pretty quick once we get to it. I mean, I say that, and it's definitely not moving as fast as I'd like it to. These will be done. Might have to do a little work on them tomorrow too, but They're not due till Sunday morning. Or Sunday afternoon, excuse me. Games Berkeley doesn't open till noon. But yeah, if you just so happen to find this video, you are a Bay Area individual and want to play some battletech, come on down to Games Berkeley this Sunday, 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. $5 at the door. Roll some dice between myself and the event organizer. We have enough mechs for you to be able to play with fully painted stuff without any worry of bringing models. Love to see you down there. And if you're not available for this month's meetup, it's worth remembering that we do this every third Sunday. The third Sunday of every month. Games Berkeley. Pretty convenient to BART. It's like a 20-minute walk from BART. And parking is free on Sundays in Berkeley. So if you can find a spot, that is. Good stuff. I live in the woods. I yell at birds and coyotes. Humans just got to yell at what's around. Yes. I recall hearing big groups of coyotes out in the woods in Tullahoma. Always sounded like they were having a party. Funny. I have heard that there are coyotes everywhere, even in and around the cities. I've never seen it. The only strange animal I've ever encountered in San Francisco is a big old pheasant over in Golden Gate Park. It's the kind with the red head. It's one of those birds that I only know from like looking at art. I'd never seen one before. I guess it makes sense though. Golden Gate Park's pretty damn big. It's like 50 blocks long or something like that. 50 blocks long, 12 wide. It's huge. I used to stay over in the inner Richmond, and the place I was staying at was about a 6-block walk from the park. So I had a buddy with whom I'd go over there and smoke weed in the park, which I don't smoke anymore, but at the time I thought it was really funny because he didn't want to smoke in the house, but he also didn't want to be caught smoking, which is a weird viewpoint, I think, for California. As an ex-pothead, I used to drive around Tennessee, stoned out of my mind, fearlessly. Of course, I gave it up several years back. Weed started to give me anxiety attacks, so I don't smoke no more. Only drug I do anymore is coffee. That's it. No chupacabra? Nope, never seen the chupacabra. But is the chupacabra not just the one they supposedly found? Wasn't that just a coyote with mange, like severe mange or something? And I mean, it kind of makes sense when you think about it. The tales of what the chupacabra would do, that it's just coyotes. Okay, we're making some serious headway. see a little patch that got missed here. Bink. These mechs are... Uh-oh. I just realized I started putting... I changed the way I was putting these down. Is this a dry one? This is a dry one, which means this one needs to come down here. I was stacking the older ones up towards the top here so that I'd know which are dry. Okay, there we go. Little reshuffling. Ideally, what should happen here is by the time I get all of these coated, we're 2 hours in, so we're still making decent time, especially considering how much was wasted in the beginning. But ideally, after I get the color on the Berserker, the first few should be dry enough to take a dry brush. And then as I go through each one, the next one down the line should be dry enough to receive the dry brush. We can just assembly line through them. Which is really what tonight's stream is about. Factory production, mass production, getting them done. Damn, this is a cool sculpt. I was a little dubious about this Cestus sculpt, checking it out in Blender and like seeing the sculpt up close. But once you print them out, they look great. Some of the decimated geometry looked a little wonky when it was really big scale, but now that it's all tiny, yeah, it works fine. Again, this is Foxfy's version of it's called like Roman Combat Glove or something silly like that. You know, it's a legally distinct Cestus. This one looks fun. It's not just a... It's not the lazy MechWarrior Online one, which... That one's disappointing. The one from MechWarrior Online has the same cockpit as the catapult. Like, not just inspired by the catapult, but the asset is just ripped from the catapult and repurposed, and it looks really lazy. I've heard that complaint, or a complaint in that direction made about MechWarrior Online mechs before, that they all look like... It's like one company made all the designs, which doesn't really... It makes sense in the context of building an aesthetic for a video game, but it does not make sense in the confines of the Battletech universe, which has a plethora of different manufacturers and corporations and whatnot. That said, I'm pretty sure the Cestus is made with General Motors parts, so it might as well be similar. The literal translation of Cestus, yeah, exactly. All right, a little bit more of this stuff. Yeah, how can't I see the description here? How do I see the description more? There we go. More. It is a digital kit batch of Foxfy's American Mecha Roman Battle Glove. Yeah, and I've got the file. I've got the file for the original version of this in the description. If you want to download it yourself, it's free. And if you want to get my version, then just hop on over to the Discord and you can download it yourself. Howdy, Matt. Welcome. See some sexy mechs? Yeah, we had some technical difficulties at the beginning. I had to glue them to the base first, and then I had to clean the airbrush, and lost a little bit of time there. So we're still just hitting them with the initial layer of contrast paint, but we've got 4, 8, 10 so far. 10 so far, 3 left to go, and then we're going to hit them with a dry brush, and we're going to assembly line out some good enough is good enough for these here Cestus models, produced by Blue Shot Weapons. The Kitbashed came out pretty great. I don't remember where I got the LBX from. I wish I could remember. But I put an LBX 20 in place of the Gauss rifle, and then I took Matt Mason's Commando SRM4 off the right arm and used a Boolean function to take a portion of it, and then doubled it and mirrored the duplicate, and then mashed them together in this assembly here and pushed it into the body, recalculated the exterior, and printed it out. It's kind of fantastic what you can get done just mucking around in Blender. It is really damn cool to live in the future. Dry brush, I thought you said to always keep your tool wet. Well, sometimes a dry touch will give you that dusty appearance. Besides, we're not always working up the green stuff. Absolutely foul. I love it. Super cool. Yeah, it is damn cool, I think, to have access to these. I mean, just like imagine trying to do this level of stuff in 2004. It would still be like deeply sci-fi. Although I think technically, if you had the money, if money was no object, you probably could have achieved rapid prototyping even in that era. If you just had the knowledge and the funds and a time machine. I don't know though. Do you think computing power would have been able to handle 3D print slicing? Tough to say. Wet your dries, then re-wet your wets. Is that that's a fried thing? Am I correct there? Is that you got your dry hand and your wet hand? Your dredge and your dusting? We were talking about dredging earlier with the dip. Dipping these in gray Minwax wood stain instead of using apothecary white contrast paint. Imagine how much faster that'd be. Just dunk and then shake it and you're done. Incredible. May very well do that sometime maybe spring. Kind of have a video production schedule out through spring. I don't want to give any promises of dates or anything. I did that once before and got way off that schedule. But I feel like I have a pretty good idea of the timeline of stuff that's going to be coming out for y'all. And it will be battletech soon. I promise. I do promise that. Sometime soon, more battletech content. Now, whether that's the Irby or the Orloff Grenadiers Lance, I'm not sure. It'll be one or the other. They will both be coming soon, but there are some other things for the holidays and the New Year's coming out first. Have priority. Oh, we're so close to done with this color. How far in are we? 2 hours, 14 minutes. Jeez. Losing time here. The printing would have been the cutoff, yeah. Well, I mean, I guess the issue with the printing in the 2004 era probably would have been the resolution of the LCD screens. But, I mean, you probably could have done it with a larger screen, shrunk down with lenses and mirrors. I think it could have been done. Granted, I'm talking infinite money to add to it. Apothecary White is some pretty magic goo. Yeah, I agree. Nate says, in 2004, yeah, rapid prototyping was already a thing, and sure, a slice would have compiled on a P3 Athlon just fine. Yeah, okay. Oh yeah, what'd you choose for an accent color? So we're doing white with a little bit of black accenting, and then a little bit of blue accenting, and finally, which I may not do on stream. I may just do one on stream. I'm gonna hand paint the blue shot weapons logo on the SRM, which is it's just a black triangle with a blue swirly gig in the middle. Used lasers back then. Interesting. In the Philippines, you can buy spaghetti at McDonald's, where they also sell a McDo piece of chicken. What? Yeah, I believe it. I believe it. It sounds plausible enough. I'm pretty sure that the McDonald's in Gatlinburg served pizza, so I fully buy it. I think in 04, getting a mold made on a CAD CNC thing would have been the way instead of printing. I think CNC routing was ready. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I took this basically equivalent of a STEM class in middle school called Innovations and Inventions. And it was like the students got to pick which modules they went through over the course of the class, and one of the things they were doing was CNC. I opted for what was it? I took a sound design module and one on aerodynamics, and got to mess around with like this miniature wind tunnel. It was really cool. The best part of that whole thing is the end of the aerodynamics module was just me playing around on a flight simulator, which was great. I got to play video games for class. They had us do like a it's like a regional flight type deal, but with wind conditions as part of the aerodynamics course. It was neat. I guess the idea was to kind of cement a real world application of study of aerodynamics. How did I get here? Oh yeah, CNC routing. We had a bunch of molds sent out for CNC wire work. What do you mean by wire work? I don't know what you mean. Alright, we're so close to done with the Apothecary White. Stuff is so good. The Apothecary White was my first contrast color that I ever played around with. And it is the color that made me a believer and a user of this style of paint rather than a scoffer. When they first hit the market, I definitely thumbed my nose hard at contrast and thought it was a lazy cop-out. And now I still realize it is a lazy cop-out, but it makes painting things so much more accessible to so many more folks. And then it even has some really fun stuff you can do with it, like shooting it through an airbrush. Ooh, it's so good. Becomes a totally different style of paint. All right. I think we're done with Apothecary White. Let's check for errors. All right, there we go. Missed a spot there. Missed a spot here. Checking for missed spots while we have it out. A little bit there. A little bit there. A little bit there. How about you? Yeah, looks okay. Looks okay. A little bit there. I keep missing the same spot on most of them. Yep, missed it there too. Okay, we're done with Apothecary White. Wire feed machine, cut type of EDM cuts. Yeah, I saw something about that. Yes, I've seen that. I want to say it was a Veritasium video where he was talking about the wire EDM and getting parts that were like really, really, really close tolerances with EDM. Matt Holberg says, I was like that with the shade colors, but I'm a big fan of them now. We used to water down darker colors and it wasn't as good. Yeah, it makes sense. Okay, so we got this here Berserker. It needs to be a color that is easily accessible. So I want to do a contrast on it. What colors? What's a weird color I haven't used before on a Mech? I've used the purple. I do have this snakebite leather and Nasdrag yellow. I could just hit it with that. But actually, I think he's going red. Red is the color of murder, and it is a Berserker, so it's going Blood Angels red, just straight up. I want to see how it works. So let's do it. Let's just pour out a little bit of Blood Angels Red and hit this boy red, red, red. Boom. Boldly apply red. Yeah, it's going to be great. I think I've just cemented that this is a Cretan mech. And that's fine. Plus, this color will be a little easier to see. Well, first off, where I failed to get a support off. Right there. Come on out. Tweeters. Get them tweeters in there. There we go. Let's do this. Blood Angels Red. It is pretty Blood Angels Red. Pretty well labeled there, GW. Yeah, the good guy. Oh, too good. I keep thinking of that meme picture of it's got the crying nerd face, and it's like this guy going on this diatribe. Okay, dude on the left says y'all are the bad guys. Dude on the right is the crying nerd face, and it says it's a Capellan, and they're like stumbling over themselves to explain why they're not the bad guys and why their genocide is okay. And then underneath it, it has a guy saying you're the bad guys, and a Cretan Bushido man saying yes. Kurita. I started to say Kurita did nothing wrong, but they're bad guys. They're definitely bad guys. Honestly, my opinion in that they're bad guys only comes from how they treat surrendered opponents. Execution. Wait a second. If you can't grab an individual pen from the box because your fingies are numb from cold, just mash at them until one stabs you enough to stick. Can you call that a technique? I guess, technically. I hope your finger's alright. Too good. Alright, so... Ooh, I realized I just missed a golden opportunity to make this a Legion of Vega mech. I may still do it. Yeah. I think we're gonna make this a Legion of Vega mech. And I'll show y'all what I mean when I get to it. I'm gonna make its body mostly this red, but as I get towards the top, I'm gonna kind of deprogram this haphazard approach that I'm taking, and get some careful application. And we're gonna pick out a few portions and leave them white. And then hit them with the Apothecary white. I'm thinking the head and the right arm are going to stay white. And we'll make this a... What is it? Second Legion of Vega. Let's see if I can do this carefully. Such a fun sculpt. I do not remember who sculpted the Berserker, but it was one of the first chassis the first STLs that I paid for. I was very reticent to pay for sculpts, to be honest. I just wouldn't do it. I'd take the free one instead, and now I've come full circle on that and support a lot of 3D sculptors. Yeah, I already fucked up and got red on the arm. So we're gonna do red onto this shoulder. Yeah. A decision made because I got a little red on it already. But we're gonna leave the head and this right arm in white. And then Vega, to me, is more gray as a secondary color. So when we put on the apothecary white, we're not going to worry as much about doing the dry brush highlight. Plus, this work right now has also given me a little time to let those Cestus models dry out a little more. So real careful. My eyes are crossing trying to focus on this. There we go. Ooh, it's tedious. Tedious work. I really should put this on the painting handle to do this, honestly. That's fine. Right arm, red. I think I might even do a silly blood spatter effect on the hatchet arm. You know, because that makes sense. Totally makes sense that 100-ton hatchet would have blood spatter on it. Although, you know, that does strike me as something an edgy Kurita boy would do on his personal paint job. Doesn't the King Crab from MechWarrior 5, the hero one, have like blood spray as part of its patterning? Seem to remember that. My calluses give me +2 versus piercing. Ooh, got magic fingers there? Enchanted fingers? That's very Dungeon Crawl Classics. One of the neater magic items that I saw in DCC was an enchanted mustache. A mustache of power. Just gives you flat plus to attributes. Because that they have like a kind of a main hero character, kind of poster boy that is a mustachioed hero. He looks like he's straight out of the 70s. Like reminds me of the aesthetic of those camper vans with the like airbrush murals on them. Gotta dry. You attack the black pink mobile. Yeah. The black Inferno one. Yeah, edgy red, black and red paint job. One of the King paint jobs does indeed have. Yeah, I thought so. It's the one with the multiple Ultra AC5s on it. Which might be a legal build. On that topic, I do want to take a moment to mention that I tried to build the Victor. It's like the BSK or the BHK. It's got the twin solid slug LBX in its arm. That is an illegal chassis. You cannot fit that many critical slots in an arm. I was very sad to see that because it's so good in MechWarrior 5. I've been enjoying it immensely, but it is not legal. You'd have to put the LBX in the second one in the torso. So you could have the same armament, just you can't have them both in the arm, which is really, really annoying. Although there was one loadout that I kind of got down this rabbit hole because I was looking at the there's a javelin build that has the SRMs and the medium lasers, one of the hero mechs, and that is a legal build if you do ferrofibrous armor and you do ferrofibrous armor and, or not ferrofibrous, if you do endosteel and an XL engine, the weight savings are enough to pack all those in, and because it's medium lasers, you still have the critical slots. One of the king, it's golden red. That sounds right. Not even if you're very special Davion boy. Yeah, exactly. MechWarrior 5 does allow crit splitting, which I don't agree with. Will avail myself out. Yeah. I mean, crit splitting happens in certain situations automatically, like putting an AC-20 in the arm. You're allowed to do it, and it splits the crits into the torso. You know, now that I'm mentioning that, I wonder if the tech manual would allow for it if you just did your construction through the pen and paper rules. Okay, so I really am anxious to put this gray on. I'm worried it's gonna mix if I don't wait long enough, but fuck it, let's do it. Let's just start putting it on. I think the arm is dry enough that it won't be an issue. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. I'm gonna make a Legion of Vega Berserker. And with this, we'll be done with all of the contrast paint. And we are at 2.5 hours in. Which is fine. I mean, it's long for the stream, but like, I think it helps to show if you were doing your own rank painting and just sitting at the desk and doing a little work here and there, it really goes to show how much you could get done swiftly. So, you know, think about that next time you got a battletech event coming up and you've been anguishing over getting your chassis painted up. It only takes a few hours. So, put you on your favorite Country Fried Minis stream or video, follow along, get you something going. I am going to put this on the paint handle. Let's do that. I think I just got attacked by a mosquito. Alright. Yeah, that gray really makes that Legion of Vega look, I think. Just push it on into the corners. It looks like it's dried enough that it's not going to blend and pull any red up. Oh yeah? Did y'all hear that honking? I hear that honking. Fire truck going by. Okay. We got our Vega chopper. Looking good. we go. Very fun. Fun mech. You might need an accessory module of some kind. Haven't looked at Mega Mech yet. Alright. Where are we at now? I'll tell you where we're at. We're at dry brushing now. Dry brush. Alright, they all look good and dry. So we're going to move them from here to there as we go. Let's make the shot more wide. There we go. Bring this down. Excellent. What color will we be dry brushing with? I think, as much as I really don't want to use it, we're about to get out a GW white. We're about to use White Scar. About to use some White Scar, which maybe needs a stir ball and a little bit of water. Oh, my water is tainted with a weird color. Let's use this one. Whoop, there we go, just a bit. It's a little chunky. A little bit chunky. Let's get out our nipple shaker. This is the Onilab MX Mini. Again, they're I don't think they're necessary at all, but if you want to pick one up to get that funky wobble in your life, about $30 on Amazon. Nice squirt dog. Ah, silly. All right, let's hit this and get the initial gunk mixed back in. So I think it is pretty well separated out. And if anything, I think it needs another squirt. All right. Yeah, that's a little smoother now. Okie day. Shake with the mixer, and then we'll do the wobble. Oh yeah, I can hear the mix ball moving around. Ever do acrylic medium for juicing up paints? Yeah, every now and then. I've got some of the what is this? Liquitex matte medium. And honestly, I probably should have used it instead of water looking at this, but it's fine. I'm not going to question my own decisions now. All right, so I want a nice, fat, soft brush, and I think we're going to use one of these makeup brushes. This one right here. Nice tuft. Nice funky tuft. I really need to make a texture palette at this point. I haven't done that yet. Yeah, I thinned this a little too much, but it's fine. It's perfectly fine. What could possibly go wrong here? If anything, the extra moisture in it will help this to stay usable as I push color. Is that gray? Is that coming out gray? I can't really. I need a white background. We have a piece of something white handy. No, I guess not. It's fine. Alright. Oh well, what's the worst that happens? We ruin a model? Anyhow. We're going to take our white dry brush, and we're going to intensify the white on the center torso and then like just the upper facing edges. Maybe that knee that's sticking out, but not much. Mostly we're gonna just make this way more white. That's all we're going for here. We just want the center torso and the cockpit to be noticeably more white. Like not even super noticeably more white, just a bit more. I want it to pull your eye there. And we'll hit that knee. Go down the line and do the same thing. Nothing ever goes wrong here. Yeah, it looks white from here. Yeah, I was a little worried. I think this towel that I'm working with just has a whole bunch of gray on it. Scared. Don't be scared. Paint Bravely, the podcast. Who's Paint Bravely? That's Brent from Goobertown Hobbies and Casey from eBay Miniature Rescues, I think. I was listening to their podcast pretty religiously for a while, but I got out of the habit, and the YouTube algorithm kind of stopped feeding them to me, which sucks. Because now I've got so much to catch up on, I probably won't do it. Realistically. There's too much content. Which is not a bad thing. You know, having infinite hours of stuff to watch is not a bad thing. Just that the algorithm does a piss poor job of recommending shit to you sometimes. Alright, same deal. Very perfunctory wash here. We're not trying to... These are not meant to win beauty contests. I need them to look like what I'm aiming for at arm's length distance. That is about it. Alright. Another down the line. Down the line we go. Paint you up. Make you white. Okay. At the very end, any contrast that we've lost is going to be boosted back up with the grime wash. I'm going to hit them with a nice funky grime wash at the very end. And yeah, it'll be fine. In fact, I might oughta... Man, do I go for another hour? I'm thinking about it, y'all. I'm seriously considering making this a 4-hour stream. And that way I can do a little oil washing at the end. Normally, I try not to stream that long. Yes. Washes fix everything with the production paint like that. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Also, howdy, Nathan. We're making some headway here. Getting some work done. I'm a little behind schedule because I lost about 45 minutes at the beginning of the stream to to glue in these lads to the bases, and then when I went to airbrush, my airbrush was all seized up because I did a piss poor job of cleaning it. And by piss poor job of cleaning it, I mean I didn't clean it at all. A little more coffee. Yes, 8:46 at night is the perfect time to drink coffee. I'm starting to wonder if I actually have insomnia, or if it's just the hours at which I decide to consume caffeine. Yeah, it's more. Well, let's do it. That's it. We'll do it. So what I'm going to do here is right after I finish this dry brush portion, I'm going to put out a little bit of oil on a piece of cardboard, and that way I can kind of show my oil method in more real time than the curated crap I do in the videos. And I think we'll do the classic, my classic 2-color mixture instead of just the ready-made Abtalung 502, which is great, by the way. This stuff, well worth adding to your collection. Check it out, $6 for this tube. That'll last you ages too. And I'm pretty sure Abtalung does like sets with multiple colors in them. So, you know, if you're down at your local FLGS and you see it down there, it's a really good choice of something to toss in your shopping bag to show a little support. If you'd started that in the beginning, you know, it'd be ready to go. Yeah. Well, I think I find that at least 20 minutes, if you have 20 minutes to give to the oil on the cardboard, it works really well. Because, you know, brown cardboard, brown paper, ooh, it works really well. It's really, really well to absorb oil. Any of y'all do any frying would know that brown paper. Put your freshly fried French fries on some brown paper to absorb the oil. It works the best. I know I see people doing it with paper towels. Paper towels don't do it as well. You want that brown paper. 100%. I think of this place that used to be in business in Manchester, Tennessee. I want to say it was called Bubba's. But they served pork cracklings. And you'd get them just in a brown paper bag. And they were really expertly done, and that brown paper bag would be just completely soaked through with grease, but the cracklings themselves were not super greasy because that brown paper works real well. You'll be wiping down the oil wash at midnight. Yeah, I'm probably not going to be wiping down the oil on stream. That's absolutely not happening, but I do think it would, I could at least show like preparing it. And then as always, when these get done, I'll post them to the Discord. So if any of y'all are finding this stream via the algorithm after the fact, make sure to check the description and consider joining up over at the Country Fried Minis Discord. It doesn't cost you a cent, and we have a fantastic community over there with some really awesome creative folks, and we'd love to see what you're working on. So join on up. Plus, if you catch any of these streams and you like what you're seeing and want to see the finished results in detail, that's where I'm posting them. All right, so a little more white paint, a little bit more. I think we might even dry brush the head of our Vega mech. Although, you know, maybe not. I think Legion of Vega is more a light gray than a white anyways. Same as Five Guys Sack of Fries. I didn't know they did that. I did not know that. right. Let's put that white down. Excellent. From here, we're going to start doing a little bit of black detailing, I think. And the more I look at these mechs, the more I'm realizing I kind of want the company logo right above the cockpit, right in the center, instead of on the side here. So I was thinking we'd do a black stripe there, but maybe not. Gonna have to think real carefully about where the black accents are going. All right. Whoa, yes, dry brush. Contrast plus dry brush. You know, it's not gonna make the most beautiful results, but it will make results very quickly. Imagine if it was just a single model or two models, how quickly we'd be blasting through them. All right, so we got our white coat on these lads. The large is just a number 2 bag ram full of crispy taters. Damn, I want some crispy taters in my life now. I do have 2 slices of pizza left over from yesterday, so no taters for me tonight. All right, so next up in this, let's take a moment to talk about well, for one, let's fill in that spot that I missed with the red right here. And then go over this lad. First, we'll do that. We'll look at the red that we missed. That's what we'll do first. Can thread the needle in there. Shit, fire. That's a tight one. I saw some spots on it while I was working on the others. I want to fill that in. Okay. Do I dry brush the red? I was kind of leaning towards no, but I think I will hit it with a little bit of an orangey reddish type dry brush. Okay, so anyhow, let's take a second to talk about Amazon boxes and what you should be doing with them if you're a mini painter. You want a small collection. If you're using oil paints, take your boxes or one of your boxes and carve it up. Tear it up into these little sections. You don't need much. This whole stack takes that much space. It lives up on my shelf, and this is enough for multiple projects. So yeah, really consider saving you some cardboard, because from here, next day pizza, the power foods. Yeah, dude. I kind of love ordering pizza in the city. Well, for one, they have vegan cheese options, which is incredible. You know, I can order any pizza without cheese, but it's not really a pizza without the cheese. So the stuff with the cashew cheese on it works really well. And it's food for like several days. Okay, so my mixture, I can't remember how much I paid for these tubes, but I was over at Blick and I picked up a tube each of Winsor Newton Artist Grade, Lamp Black, and Burnt Sienna. And together they make a really nice grime. So we're just going to put a little out of each. And the Lamp Black is more powerful, so we're going to put out a little extra Burnt Sienna as compared to the black. And we're just going to let that sit on this cardboard while we work, and it's going to pull out it's a whole bunch of the linseed oil. You can see it's already wicking out. This cardboard works really well for prepping your oil paint. Nate says, is there a mellow mushroom in SF? I'm not sure. I'm familiar with mellow mushroom because they had a location in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. But I'm not sure. I cannot answer that question. Okay, so I do want to get a little red on this lad, but I think it's more poignant, more pertinent to get some black onto these lads here. So let's take our Black Legion contrast paint. It's like a ton of paint in it. Yeah, it's an absolute ton of paint. I'd use like a quarter of that if I were doing less models. But it's also worth putting a little bit extra out too if you're not sure about the ratios or you screw it up and have to add a little more brown. You know, that good stuff. Alright, so we're going to do some Black Legion instead of just a straight black for our first accent color. And we're going to switch to a smaller brush. I think this one ought to do us well. And we're also sticking with the same brand of brush to do this. So I think our first black accent is going to be these rings coming off the shoulders. They strike me as a really good spot to render them in black. I don't really want a ton of the accent color on these lads, honestly. I think less is more will be a more powerful approach. They're white mechs. They're not. I don't know what's the word I'm looking for. It's like there were some pictures of industrial machines shared in the Discord by a few community members, and that's kind of the look I'm going for. Like mostly a clean and sterile industrial white. But over which we'll do a hefty grime wash. But every now and then we're gonna punctuate that color schema with some little bits that contrast it. So I'm thinking the first detail for sure, we're doing these rings where the arms connect to the torso. And since we're rank painting, we can do this on all of them before moving to the next, before deciding where the next bit's going. And I gotta admit, it's a little disappointing that the Black Legion doesn't really appear to work. It doesn't do the contrast effect very well. It's just black paint. I mean, I know it will do it a little bit, but it's very black. Very, very black. They're spendy, but worth it when you need a pizza that goes hard. Yeah. I don't know if I've ever actually had mellow mushroom, now that I think about it. Of course, we had this place called Mr. Gaddy's in Tullahoma, and that's where my family would always go, because you go there and you get like a deal on multiple pies, and then they had an arcade room. It's a great way to keep all us kids entertained for a long while. Also, oil wash stores well in for long, so mixing a bunch isn't a bad thing. I might need to store some. I wonder if I should have a jar somewhere nearby. I know I have a whole bunch of jars, but they're mostly really big. I've gone through and collected a lot of these Vegenaise jars, for instance. Like a whole bunch of them. They're the right size and seem like such a waste to throw out when you could just like clean it, man, and then you got a nice glass jar to store stuff in. A woman faked her entire tragedy in the loss of her husband to the 9/11 attacks and became president of the support network in New York. So did that senator who just got booted. Seems that's disingenuous. In fact, I think there's a word for that. It's called lying. Yeah. We got a Gaddy's here too. Oh, yeah. You know, Mr. Gaddy's. They had like cartoon pizza ingredients painted on the walls. I can picture the little mushroom guy. Okay. There's two. Slow going, but we're going. We are going. Oh, I don't know why I do this to myself, y'all. Like, the whole deal with this month's meetup is that it was suggested we do a white elephant thing, where everybody brings a mech, one mech to paint and give it away in the whole white elephant Pirates Christmas type thing. Yeah, I was like, oh, let me paint up enough so everybody will get one. Oh, my ambition sometimes disappoints me. But it'll be fun, and I hope people are excited about using a really weird and wonky mech chassis. Might ought to print off some sheets too, since I bought a printer. Whatever, it's fine. Ain't nothing wrong with it. And a spaghetti bar, yes. I remember the spaghetti bar. Gaddy's did indeed have a spaghetti bar. Something I would appreciate now as an adult, but did not as a kid. The spaghetti did not have the excitement of pizza. Okay, here we go. Rank painting. Enjoy the riveting content of seeing the same part get painted 13 times in a row. Still sitting here thinking about what's the next section to get a little black on it. All right, so we just hit 3 hours. So I don't even think I'm gonna get to the ink washing, to be honest, y'all. The oils, I mean. They will get done on the mix as part of the process. I'm glad I at least took a moment to show putting it on the cardboard. One of these days I will have a stream properly planned out where we do some proper oiling. I think I could maybe set up a demonstration where we are applying the oil, but then also have some that are like an hour ahead and we can remove the oil. Talk about that process. I need to re-sculpt this dog's ass and I can't find my putty. What could you be working on? Anybody see where I left my milliput? You know, I've never actually worked with milliput. My brother was a big proponent of it. He did pretty much all his conversion sculpting in Milliput. I guess the advantage is it's water soluble. I know I see a lot of crafters do the whole like 50-50 mix of Milliput and green stuff, but I've never tried it. Just another thing to put on the list of to-dos. You know, I gotta say, this little bit of black on the shoulders already adds so much to this design, this paint job. It's kind of remarkable. Just how a little pop of color will do you well. I'm thinking we might paint the entirety of this SRM stack in black. Not 100% sure yet, but this whole box I think could look good in black. Then again, we still gotta do metallics and all kinds of stuff. Shit. This was a fool's errand. Found it. Excellent. A resin Christmas dog thing. Christmas dog? Like, what makes a dog Christmassy? I'm kind of picturing like a puppy in a box with a bow on it. Although a puppy for Christmas is a terrible gift. Terrible, terrible gift. Like, on the surface level, getting someone a puppy is a kind gesture. But deeper down, you just sign that person up for 15 years of commitment that ends in heartbreak. I've kind of soured on pet ownership myself, for what it's worth there. After my dog passed. That said, I think I'm just about ready to get a cat again. Been leaning towards it. I don't want to go out of my way to you know, find a cat, but if the opportunity presents itself, I think it's time for a cat in my life. It's a yellow dog, and I have yellow putty. Otherwise, I'd use my gray epoxy. I see. The hat. Oh, okay. You just put the hat, the Christmas hat, on the doggy, and it becomes Christmas. Reminds me of my my Van Zant model. I'm pretty sure it's in my Painting in Infinity. I can't remember the name of it. Can I paint a Infinity Army in 24 hours or something like that? The Coca-Cola Rangers. I showed the test model to someone, and my test model was this character named Van Zant, which is like explicitly based off of Van Zant from Reign of Fire. And someone had mentioned that the red and white made him into Van Zanta. So I sculpted a Christmas hat on his bald head. And you're absolutely right. The simple addition of that silly red hat with a puffball on the end instantly makes it Christmas. Okay. This is going so slow. So very, very slow. I'm shocked. So I think what I'm about to do here, y'all, I think I'm about to finish the black on these mechs. And maybe just call it there. My ambition exceeds my ability to get this done. At least on stream. I don't want to stream all night. Plus I got a few things I need to do before midnight for class, which is actually the final thing for reals this time. I got to do 1,000 words before midnight. So I think what I'm going to do is finish up the last of these black rings here. I call the stream and may hang out in Discord tonight. For those of y'all who are community members, for those of y'all who are finding this video via the algorithm and aren't already Discord members, head on over and sign up. Well, I guess you don't have to sign up. You just join. Check out the link in the description. We often chill in the hobby corner. Sometimes late at night, sometimes during the day. You want to share what you're doing? Communicate with like-minded community members? It's the place to do it. Alright. A little bit at a time. Model by model. I tell you, time flies when you're having fun. And it flies even faster when you're trying to get some stuff done with an arbitrary deadline. I thought this would go so much faster. And I was very wrong. Alright, three more, which is 6 more shoulder rings. And I'm thinking something similar on the torsos. We got these, like, I don't know if it's showing up on the stream. We got these round little details here. I think those are also going to go black. And then I'm thinking maybe these knee guards will go black. But we're going to keep the mechs mostly white to really sell that modern industrial equipment aesthetic, as well as save as much time as possible, because I will invariably be up late working on these. Hopefully not having to spend too much time on them tomorrow, which we may do an impromptu workflow stream tomorrow. I will definitely be editing either way. We're aiming for a Sunday release for the Octavia Grimsdaughter video. Might be a Monday. But yeah, expect it real soon in the next few days. While I move on to finishing up Titania and editing and releasing that video for Christmas. I'm aiming for Christmas. I don't want to promise it'll be a Christmas release because I might fall behind, but if we fail to get it out on Christmas, it'll be a New Year's Eve thing. It's not Christmas themed, but it would be a nice Christmas morning gift to y'all in the community to get out that long-awaited Titania video. An essay on pinups and why painting boobies is okay. And why maybe you should consider painting up a pinup in your collection. Really challenging yourself. Should be a fun piece. She's been a fun paint up so far. And really pushed the boundaries of my skill level, which I am quite thankful for. All right. This is the last one of these ring pairs. Cannot believe how long this is taking. But what was I expecting? There's 13 models here. If anything, I see creators on YouTube doing these like, oh, I painted 1 million models in 24 hours. And I don't really trust that so much no more. All right, let's see. We're 3 hours, 19 minutes in. Let's blast through these little round things right here. And then wrap it up in the next 10 minutes. I think that's a nice little detail. Shit, I don't even know if that shows up on camera, but you know, less is more here. We want the white to be the primary color and just accent it here and there with a little bit of color. Off camera, I'm going to go back through and I'm going to hit the metallics with my favorite Vallejo metal colored jet exhaust, which is a nice grungy steel kind of color. And that's going to be dark enough to provide a little contrast to the white. Honestly, I could sit here and go for another 2 hours, but I do have a project that needs to get turned in before midnight, and I need to make myself do it. So I'll leave y'all at the 3.5 hour mark. Plus, I think I've said it before, I'm trying to get in the habit of doing 3-hour streams. I want them to be consistent. I want folks to be able to come in and have an expected and scheduled stream. Consistency is key, or so I've heard. Yeah, that black dot looks really neat. It definitely looks like some kind of some plastic cap over some access bolt or something silly like that. Alright. Definitely a lot faster than the black rings. But I hope the stream tonight has shown a little bit of insight into what goes into the monotony of rank painting. And though it is taking ages, I hope it goes to show that this method is great to get progress on your whole force all at once. And works really well in that by the time you get to the last model, the first one is dry and ready to get some more paint. And if you are working on a project again. Would love to see what you're doing. Post it in our Discord. If you want to stay appraised of upcoming future videos here on Country Fried Minis, or at least the live streams, go on over to countryfriedminis.com. Check out the calendar over there. We'll keep it updated with scheduled streams. But like I said, you can count on the paint stream every Wednesday, 6 p.m. PST. We'll go 6 to 9, about 3 hours. Sometimes 3.5, sometimes 4, but consistently 3 hours. That's what we're going for. We have the Infinity Tabletop Simulator live match every other Monday, same time slot. And in the new year, I can look forward to the Tabletop Tuesdays, again, every other week. In any case, I think that's about all I can get done here on stream. I'm losing energy. I'm losing focus. I want to hop up and do some other stuff, stretch my legs, take a break. I think this helps and goes to show that 3 hours of work can get some serious headway in on a project. So, you know, I'm estimating 6 hours, realistically, on 13 models. So let that serve as a little food for thought. Again, I've been Cameron on behalf of Country Fried Minis, presenting once again from the Bullshit Corner. Where's it at? It's over there somewhere. There it is. Bullshit Corner. I want to thank y'all for joining me today. It's always a blast to communicate with folks here in chat. I want you to remember to stay happy while you're painting. And of course, remember that your participation in these live streamed events, communicating with me, chatting here, keeps me happy while I'm painting. Thank y'all for showing up tonight, and I'll catch y'all in the future. Lots of love, and see you around soon. Take it easy, y'all.